Hi, welcome to Small Potatoes, the show where we discuss the insignificant, inconsequential, and often inappropriate tidbits of life that we think deserve more attention. My name's Trevor.
I'm Anthony.
And I'm Spencer. We want to talk about the things that no one really needs to talk about.
So we think that the details that really aren't worth mentioning are actually worth mentioning.
And I know what you're thinking. Who the fuck are these guys? Why do they have a podcast? And why should I care? And our response to you is, don't think about those things. That's stupid. That's dumb.
Boo.
Today's the first episode. Congratulations, we made it.
Woo!
Thanks for listening. And what do we talk about? We talk about flash mobs.
Ooh, poop scares.
Poop scares. Anthony loves talking about pooping.
People that yell on the phone.
The movie Elf and why it's not a comedy.
Actually a horror film? Think about it. Think about it.
Yeah, so hopefully we entertain you. Hopefully we make you laugh. Thanks for listening. Definitely come back if you like it. Subscribe, download, do all those fun things, rate and review, all that shit. Do that for us if you like it. If you don't, do it anyways, and that would be cool.
Look, it's all fun and games till someone cares. We don't, so it's all fun and games.
We're rolling.
So here's the chain of events. Hello. We all get together.
That's not our intro. Yeah, sing the theme song. Sing the theme song.
And yes, she's annoying. Give it to me. What's it called?
What's the name of the show?
Let's get started.
Okay.
Let's get it started and hot. Let's get it started in here.
Running, running, and running, running, and
I'm running.
Oh, get stupid. I don't know what the rest of the words are, but I listen to that song so much, but I never ever learned the words.
That's just kind of the Black Eyed
always
Peas. Like, this is how they operate.
Transition that song into like the School of Rock song when Jack Black goes, "Touch me, babe."
Lawrence is good at piano.
I just watched that movie.
So good. Nobody should quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure he did say that he would come on the show sometime soon.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
We were exchanging emails, the four of us.
This is totally
and he's
real.
like, yeah, I'm totally down. I'll come to you guys' pod. I know you guys have 0 listeners so far, but I have a really good feeling about you guys.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, Jack, that's so meaningful.
Jablinski Games will be on the show probably next week, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Or at least one of his kids.
Yeah, for all of you listeners out there, he will be here. Tune in.
Jablinski Games.
Next week, we have Jack Black coming into the studio.
Yep.
Our singular studio that we are all in right now. Yeah.
So if you don't like this week's episode, just hang in there. Next week is going to be a hot ticket.
Honestly, though, who knows? Maybe we'll get Jack White or some other Jack to come in.
Jack Color name.
Jack Skellington. He's black and white.
Okay, so does anybody this week have anything that they want to start with?
Should we introduce the show?
Let's introduce the show first,
Oh, okay.
I think.
I guess you're right.
Okay, hello listeners. Welcome to the show. This is Small Potatoes, the show where we want to talk about things that you might care about, things that we might care about, and just kind of bring it down a notch. Just kind of look at things and say, you know what, it doesn't really matter.
It's a little less than.
It's a little less than you think it is.
Not really important.
It's a little less consequential than it might be in your brain. It's small potatoes, if you will. So does anyone have any small potatoes that they want to start with?
Yeah, I have a small potato that I want to start with, and I think that we all pretty much agree on this already. It's possible, I don't know. But I'll just throw the idea out there. I have been thinking a lot just because we're recording this around the holidays, and I have been talking on the phone to all my relatives recently. Since my partner works at home, I'm talking on the phone, and he always comes out and he's like, "You are screaming." while you're talking on the phone.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this a lot with myself, with a lot of my family members, with a lot of people. I want to know what it's called, what the person is called that talks needlessly loud on the phone.
Specifically on the phone.
Just on the phone. It's not even like I'm on the phone with my grandma and she's hard of hearing. It's like I'm on the phone with my sister and I'm just like just
I think it's
belting
worth
it.
mentioning the other end of that spectrum because there are also people who whisper on the phone for no good reason, and you need them to speak up and they just won't, even if they're not in a situation where they have to be quiet.
Yeah, dude. That happens all the time, though. It's like ring, 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 and you're like, hello. Hello.
Yeah.
You're like, why?
Or you'll be in the room with someone, they get a phone call,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "Hi, hello, what's up?" And you're like, "Why are you whispering?" Like,
I can totally
there's no
talk right
need.
now. I'm free. I can talk.
if it's a secret conversation, just leave the room, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like I can hear you whisper. I can hear what you're saying as you
Yeah.
whisper. So like, what's the point?
Just speak normally.
I do want to say that, have you ever thought maybe, Spencer, that you are a drama queen and that you just want everyone to know what you're talking about?
I am. No, I totally know that about myself. I'm a drama queen. I thrive off of gossip. I love it.
Wait, she did what?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the phone. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I'll sit like right outside my husband's door and be like, no way. His sister did. No. Come on.
Outside the door.
And just right outside the door.
Love the tea.
And when he asks me, I say, I can't tell. I'm so sorry. It's not my secret to tell.
It's not my secret to tell. You just get my loud ass.
I just listen.
I think that is self-voice awareness or lack thereof.
It's lack thereof for sure, because I can't control it. Like every single time he tells me you're talking so loud, I'm like, okay, I'll try to talk quieter. And he'll leave and I just go right back up. And it's not even that I'm doing it on purpose. I just can't not do it. I have to speak at such an absurd volume.
Yeah. I get that way too, though, because I'll start normal and then just as the conversation goes on, I get louder and louder and louder until someone tells me, You're yelling on the phone.
You're just yelling.
Speaking of phones, I have something that I've noticed this for years, and I think everyone notices this, but it's just this very unspoken phenomenon. And this is for the young people listening. This is for the Gen Zers, late millennials, but none of you oldies will get this. When you're Snapchatting someone and you're also texting someone at the same time, yet both of those conversations are separate conversations, not addressing the other.
So weird. Happens all the time.
All the time.
All the time,
And
I agree.
you never address. I totally understand. You never address it. Once you finally notice too that like the conversations are going that are in different spots, I think they go even farther away. Like once you finally notice, like, oh, I'm having two separate conversations, then they just get like there's more distance between how related they could be.
Yeah. Well, because Snapchat, the conversation will go whatever the picture is of. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're watching that? Love that show, blah, blah. And then you guys start talking about the show, but you're texting like, so what are we doing for dinner? Okay, so the plan is 6 p.m. We're meeting here, but you're still talking about the TV show in the other conversation, and they're completely two completely divergent topics.
I've had that even go to the point though where I've switched to DMing in Snapchat, and it's still a very different conversation.
Yeah.
Where now it's literally like just choosing two different platforms to text.
So I want to see just how many different platforms that I can have just a different conversation with somebody. I want to text. I want to Facebook Messenger. I want to Snapchat.
Until they
Instagram
say
DM.
something.
Until they're like, what are you doing?
What is happening?
It's called an e-bomb.
Alrighty, Anthony, please tell us what is your small potatoes.
Okay, so this thing that I want to talk, it's definitely small potatoes for sure, but I think this is something that I like deeply care about. Just like how connected you are with your body, literally, emotionally, and figuratively, and in your brain too. So I was thinking about this. So like when when like you're at the grocery store, when you go anywhere away from home, okay? Literally anywhere, when you go to the store, when you go do an activity, you go to work, you go to school, anything. And then you make your trip home. And on your return journey, your body starts to kind of relax because you know you're going home. So without fail, your body clock says, "Oh, I need to poop. Hey, Anthony, go home a little faster because I gotta poop."
Hey, Anthony.
And the thing is, it's crazy. So it blows
Step
my
on
mind.
it a little.
And so this can turn into a poop scare. And for anyone who hasn't had a conversation with me personally about poop scares, a poop scare is simply defined as any time you have to poop and the first thought that comes into your brain when you have to poop is, will I make it? If you are at home, here's the thing. If you're at home and you need to poop and then you just go poop, that's not a poop scare because you didn't get afraid. Any like little fight or flight instinct that you have of like being afraid of like what will be the consequence if you don't make it is a poop scare. So look, I could talk a whole episode about poop scare stories, but specifically what I'm talking about, what I care so deeply about is just how connected we are when our body literally just knows
To ourselves.
that we're on the way home. Because it happens, sure, it happens like at random times, you're at a concert or whatever like that, but it also, most of the time, happens like literally after you've bought groceries and you're on the way home. Your body's just like, yup, it's happening. It's happening. We're going home for the rest of the night. We can be so
The
fucking
ice cream
comfortable.
is melting in the car because I have to poop first and foremost.
Guys, when I was a kid, so like we all know this is like extremely relatable. This happens all the time. And the thing is when I was a kid, it happened every single time I went to the grocery store. So my brother, Alex, always had to be stuck with my mom bringing in the groceries.
Because you had to shit yourself.
He would get so mad because he was like, "You're getting out of it by saying that you have to poop." And I was like, "Dude, if you could come with me." Like,
My eyes are watering right now.
Yeah, I'm not lying. It's coming out of me. I'm prairie dogging. It's straight up violent. And it happens so often after work, when I'm just like late at night. And as long as it doesn't turn into a poop scare, I'm pretty excited about it because I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. Like clockwork. I get off same time every night. I'm going to go poop. And I have a specific type of YouTube video that I will watch. The YouTube videos that you watch when you poop are very different, I feel like, than the YouTube videos you just generally watch.
What?
They're almost somewhat educational. You kind of like learn
Watching
something.
the Cosmos.
I feel like I want to watch something about food or like about how to make a chair.
While you're
Really?
pooping?
Oh,
No.
no.
Sorry,
No,
what?
as far from food as
No,
possible.
not like different ways to brew coffee. Like something
Nope.
generally.
Especially
No.
not that.
Yeah.
No, because I've already won.
You just named the poopiest
and I'm already
liquid.
pooping. I've already won. I'm not worried about making it to the bathroom. So might as well watch whatever I want to at this point because I've made it.
Yeah, but your brain doesn't get like weirded out by like smelling shit and watching food and like
No, I'm not thinking about
there's no
eating
dissonance
it.
there. I don't
I'm not
like
thinking
that
about eating
mix.
it. I'm just thinking about how can I be better? How does one upholster a couch? How does one spin coffee with water instead of pressing it with water and then the coffee grounds come out dry?
What did they discover on Mars recently? This could be cool.
Exactly.
Wait, but have you ever experienced I feel like this is the opposite of a poop scare, where I had this happened to me a few days ago where I was arriving at work and had the feeling, Trevor, you gotta poop. And I said, no, body, you need to absorb it for 8 hours. Now's not the time. And it works.
It does.
You just you tell your body like, no, not the time, later tonight,
My body doesn't do that.
keep it in. And then the feeling goes away. And then it's a delayed poop scare where you're arriving at home and, oh yeah, it's coming.
I will tell you this. My girlfriend and I were discussing this, and we think it's a lot more evolutionary. So, when you go home, you start to loosen up, and your you're no longer tense anymore. So you're like, gotta poop now. Now, when you go into work and you're like, gotta poop, and you're like, nope, hold it for 8 hours. Or you go to school, hold it for 6 hours, It's like when the cavemen were running around amok, just going everywhere, and they needed to find their way home.
Mhm.
It was going to get dark.
That's what they were
or
doing.
they needed to like run away, make sure they, got home in time because there's animals that are going to kill them and eat them. So they were like, nope, can't do it right now. Gotta turn it into diamonds because we got to get home. So I think that there's a reason.
I don't think that, because could you imagine living in a cave and also like shitting by that cave? I feel like as a caveman, I would want to poop as far away, do my business as far away from home as possible, because I want good smells only when I get home.
And every camper knows that poop attracts bears.
Poop attracts bears, exactly. And I'm sure the cavemen knew that.
Generally home.
Well, think about this, and maybe I'm wrong because they had a very different diet, but do you ever I think about this sometimes, when you're having let's call it a strenuous poop, you got to put the effort in, your face is a little red. Think about the fact that like even those cave people squatting in the trees sometimes had more strenuous poops than others. Like they weren't just like squat and then moving on. They're like, okay, all right, this is, oh boy, okay, all right, I'll be out in a sec. Just they're in a bush. I'll be out in a sec.
You know how some doors, like some like people's bathrooms, they don't have locks on the doors, and you got to do the whole knocking thing to make sure someone's like not in there when they're pooping or whatever. I wonder if way back then, back in the caveman times, if they ever had to deal with that issue. It was just like, oh no, we could just walk over somewhere else in the woods and poop. Or it was like there was a specific bush where they pooped. So they had to like peek behind the bush and be like, hey, anyone in here so I can go? Just sticking your hand out.
Occupado.
Occupied. Shake the bush.
You almost done?
So let's not talk about shit for the entire first episode.
Sorry, I can talk about it so much.
So let's change gears, change topics here. Spencer, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I do have something else that I particularly care about. And I think almost everybody cares about this. However, I know that it is something that just matters to no one else but like myself personally, or like you personally, So, when you're asleep in the morning and you're having a fantastic dream, and then somebody prematurely wakes you up and like right smack dab in the middle of the dream, right before you're kissing the person that you want to kiss or something, or like, I don't know what you guys dream about, but that's what I usually dreamed about.
We're all guys.
There's a lot of kissing involved in my dreams.
Lots of kissing. And you're like, fuck, I need to finish that dream. And you like really try and focus and go back to sleep and finish the dream, and it like never works. And then you're just bugged all day long. You're like, I could have had an amazing morning. I could have just woken up so blissfully. And I know, and so it's something that just like every time it happens to me, I'm so upset about it, and I wish it never happened. But, in the end, it affects nobody else's day, It hardly should affect my day.
Oh my God, when a dream fucks you up all day and you just can't talk about it. You can't explain why.
You sound like a crazy person.
Yeah. You're just emotionally dented for that day. But then it resets the next day, so you're fine. But oh yeah, when you have like a devastating dream.
I have tried so hard to keep that dream once I've woken up, if like the trash truck is just too loud that morning.
Yeah.
That I'll be in bed. I'll wake up at 7, but then I'll be in bed forcing it until like 12:30. Just come on.
5 hours of trying to finish
this thing
like
happening.
the last minute of your dream. You're like, ugh.
Yeah, literally. You have a saga of movies of perfect, beautiful dreams that have happened all night long, and that 5 hours in the morning that you spend for literally the end 30 seconds of that dream.
And your dream is like the beautiful dream is like slowly slipping away for that 5 hours, and you're just holding as hard as you can to it. You're like, come on, remember what happened.
Yeah.
You're like remembering the last thing that you do remember, so that hopefully it ignites the next part.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. I have they have a term for it. Memory retention. Something about like it's like an actual like muscle where you can like remember your dreams and you can like strengthen it by like
What?
writing it down in the morning. Yeah. It's like for like people who like lucid dream, by the way, that's one of the types of YouTube videos I'll watch while I'm pooping is like how to lucid dream better. One of the things is like to improve, like to remember your dreams for longer. Like you wake up, you talk about it, and you immediately like write it down like in a dream journal.
Mhm.
And then that way, over time, you'll actually remember your dreams. The second I wake up, that dream just like disappears into oblivion, into just doesn't exist anymore. But the feeling of how weird your dream is still lingers throughout the day. So I definitely know that feeling of being like totally fucked from your dream. You're like, what? Feel weird, but I don't know how to talk about it because I don't even really remember it myself.
Well, what's really upsetting about forgetting your dreams is I feel like my mind wrote this beautiful story, and I remember having just a beautiful dream, and I'm like, I could be a great screenwriter. Like, what? Why couldn't I just remember my dreams so I could write it down, turn it into a movie, and just share it with the rest of the world? So egotistical of me.
I don't want to assume, but I'm going to ask you this. Do you ever like tell someone a dream that you had? You're like, oh, I had this crazy dream that you were in and all of these things happened. And then because you're a guy, it was probably a sex dream at some point. And then you decide to start lying about where the dream actually went. You're like, I don't really remember what happened.
And then
I
don't remember the next
And then
part.
something else really happened, even though you know exactly what happened during that dream, but
Oh
you
my
only
God.
wanted to tell them a part of it.
That happens to me all the time where you start the story and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, this gets pervy. I have to I have to change the subject.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I was just having technical difficulties that entire bit.
You still
You
are.
still
I
are.
don't see
And
you.
you sound far away. So
Yeah.
I had to switch to my telephone.
Way.
How about now?
oh, far away.
What are you guys singing? What is that?
We just wrote a song, impromptu song. Sorry, it was free.
Oh,
You're welcome.
good job.
Were you still recording though?
Yeah,
Good.
I think I'm
Is this
okay.
your phone? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's fine. The sound just sucks. That's all.
Yeah.
You can barely hear you, but that's totally fine.
Well, yeah, but I'm recording clearly,
Okay.
so it's fine.
Oh yeah, so it's totally fine that we can't hear you when you talk, so we have no idea what you're going to be saying. But yeah, I'm glad you're still recording.
What?
No way. Why did we invite him?
Yeah, what?
Nah, I'm just joshing. I'm just fooling.
Why did we
Don't
invite
even-
this guy?
Don't even sweat it.
So I have one. Okay, I've been,
So, Anthony, what do you got?
I've been thinking of a couple. One happened though the other day when I was at Trader Joe's. It's when you have a full conversation with somebody and you realize that they're not there. Just full conversation that you have with essentially no one.
Like they left? Like they're just not
like
physically
you
there?
thought that they were there and then they've left you and now you're just on your own talking. That normally will
Totally.
happen sometimes, you know, when you walk into the kitchen and everyone's there or whatever and you putting stuff away and someone walks to the, you know, pantry, leaves or whatever and you're talking to
Yeah.
yourself.
I feel like it happens a lot in TV shows. They open the fridge, talking, close the fridge, person's
Yeah,
gone.
and the scene's over conveniently
Yeah.
when they
Classic.
like
And then
realize.
the scene's over because they're like, what? No one listens.
But it's never that comfortable. It's never like it's always the most embarrassing thing when that happens.
You look around, see if anyone noticed that you're talking to yourself.
Literally.
Or you're like in the store with someone and you're like, oh, like what do you think of this? And they're on the other end of the aisle. You're like, oh, okay.
That happens literally all the time. Yeah.
So here's what happened. There was this old couple. They were like looking at some food in the cold aisle. The woman just got up and walked away. She went to go do something else, but beelined it somewhere else. Like not like just like just looking at the rest of the aisle, just completely went somewhere else. And I needed to get an object that he was kind of standing at, so I was kind of like waiting. But then he started to have a conversation, like just started this conversation about like, oh, I can't believe the meats.
And only you were there.
I can't believe the meats are this way, and only I was there.
You were the only one standing there.
So it gets to a point where I'm like, too much time has passed, so I'm just gonna kind of like step away.
Bro, she's gone.
But then he starts to gesture towards me, still not looking, but starts to gesture.
Still not looking.
But now I'm.
So he just sees an object moving next to him and he thinks it's his wife.
And that's his wife, yeah.
But because he's gestured towards me and I've started to walk away, now I'm like, oh no. So I have to come back and like I have to like be a body double in this type of conversation.
You have to save face for the wife. Like he can't think negatively about her walking away from him in the middle of talking.
Literally.
So you have to stay there.
And now I'm a victim to this embarrassing moment that I want to be less embarrassing for him, but it's just going longer. And the more time we've added to this situation, the more embarrassing it's gotten for all parties involved. So I just was like, you know what? I guess I'm here now, because now I've decided to walk back into the conversation because he thinks that I'm still his wife. I do have like a second one that I feel like kind of has to do with the situation of like being caught in this like embarrassing moment that also has been happening to me. It can happen with strangers. It can happen with coworkers. It can happen with like co-students. What are they? Just fellow students? Peers?
Peers.
In class.
Yeah, peers.
Co-students?
Wait,
those are peers. No, those are peers.
But I'm not friends with them. They're not my friends.
Yeah, well,
It's classmate.
It's not your friends.
You're looking for the word classmate?
I like classmate more. Classmates. Okay. It's okay. So there's this, you know, like when you're like doing busy work or you're like doing some sort of work or you're just to yourself. And this could be another person that's being to themselves. But like, for example, like you're at work and you've got a project to do. So you're just to yourself working on this project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes when you're to yourself working on a project or something, you might talk to yourself a little bit. You might hum. You might sing. Specifically, what I'm talking about is when someone chooses to sing, but they choose to sing like they're auditioning for American Idol. Like, with added vibrato. Like, it's just not fair. Like, no, don't do that.
Like, you know somebody's listening.
You know people are, like, in a different room might walk in or listening on you. And, dude, it happens. Like, it happens in everywhere I turn, if it's whether I'm at school and there's someone in my group, or you end up at work, or you're just, like, walking, you know, along the harbor and someone's just, like, also walking near you. And they decide to have this, like, actual, like, Broadway show where it goes from, like, slight, like, beauty, and then they're like, beauty and the beast. And you're like, dude, I don't care.
I'll be so honest. I am definitely a victim of this. This is how I get through my math classes, is when I'm doing my math problems, I have to sing my math problems because that's just how I do them. So I'll be sitting, I'm like, Jimmy has 3 melons.
But I think you're doing it.
And then there was. And then I'll get yelled at because I'm like, shh, this is a library.
I will say, I think the context of how you sing it, though, is kind of funny. Like, I think people, what I'm talking about, like, kind of almost like want me to walk in and be like.
Are they singing, Anthony, are they singing songs, or are they singing like Spencer's singing? Like just singing what they're studying?
They're like songs. They're like for sure songs. They're like, they're ancient hymns they're singing.
Ancient hymns?
Just like what? It's the Halo theme song that they're singing. literally. And I don't know. It's a level of expertise that I'm like, do you want me to like say more? Like, what's your discography? Or like,
Anthony, I'm picturing you in like the quiet corner of the school library, just like at a desk working. You just hear out of the corner of your ear just, oh, and you look like, what the hell?
and nobody else in the library cares.
There's no one else.
Yeah,
Everyone's acting like it's not happening, but there's just a student in full monk garb.
normal.
In a full monk garb, just singing hymns.
I swear,
An organ appears.
a whole dance number begins, and still not one person in this library cares.
What is happening?
That was always when flash mobs were like a huge thing. That was always like one of my biggest dreams was for a flash mob to happen and like no one watch.
Wait a minute.
Just like
Totally.
everyone just like is doing it, but like everyone that's at the mall that the flash bomb is happening at is just still just walking by.
I love how
because they're like, I
quickly-
have to be somewhere.
I love how quickly flash mobs were really cool and then so quickly very uncool.
Not
Roll your eyes if
anything.
you ever see one.
I think I came across one earlier this year, and it's the most uncomfortable thing. Everybody has come together to say, we're going to dance, and it's going to be so good. No one's going to know.
So awesome.
The planning. No one's going to know. And then all of a sudden, everyone's going to be doing choreographed dance moves. People will go insane. Like, what is the...
And you can always
The
tell
motivation.
in a flash mob, you can always tell who, because they're usually at the front, who the choreographer planner was and like who has never danced before in their life.
Or...
And they're just following the person in front who clearly taught them all
and
the
like
moves.
who's like the friend who maybe went to one practice or just was given a shirt. He's just given a shirt and he's like,
You're just given a shirt.
yeah.
There's always like the 6-year-old dad that's with his wife and he joins it and his wife's like, what? No,
Richard.
you're in it? So excited.
You too.
You've never done anything like this.
Honey, you know how I told you I've been going to my big boy job? I got fired 3 months ago
This is my way of telling you.
at the yogurt land.
Right next to this iPhone kiosk.
And then as soon as the dance is over, we all just like disperse and like some people get in line to get yogurt.
I hope that in the era of flash mobs, someone was like planning like they're in a flash mob and they're like, come on, let's go to the mall today. And the person they're trying to get to go, it's just like, I do not want to go to the mall today. I've got so much to do. I'm just not feeling the mall. No, really, like, let's go to the mall. I bet it'll pay off. I'm sure we'll have a great time at the mall. No, I just don't want to go. I'm just not feeling it. I have a stomach ache. Like, I haven't done my makeup. I just don't want to. I'm not feeling the mall today. I really think we should go to the mall today.
Serious though, like I think we need to leave like in like 15 minutes if we're gonna make it. I doesn't think this.
What's the big deal? No, it's the biggest time for traffic right now. Let's just go in an hour. No.
We have to make sure we go to Yogurtland next to the iPhone kiosk. Remember that?
I need a new case. You just bought a new case. Don't worry about it. We need to go to that part of the mall right now. Can we hit the food court first? No food court. We have to go.
What would we call back to when I had that idea? What would we call?
idea? What are we talking about?
So many tangents, so sorry.
When somebody sings and it's unwanted, and it's like usually, a lot of effort's usually put into it. What would we call that experience or the action of doing it?
It's almost as if someone thinks that they're in a musical and they expect like other people to sort of join in.
Is it because I'm picturing this situation in a library? Is it a library matinee?
The library matinee.
It's a very specific term to our joke, but I do like the idea of calling it a library matinee. But essentially, yeah, these people live in a library matinee.
Like you have involuntary tickets to their library matinee, and you just have to sit there and listen to them sing.
You have to listen.
And the tickets are season passes. No matter where I go.
And the worst of the situation is not it. Tell me, okay, you guys tell me which is worse: the musical theater singer or the guy rapping, the guy freestyling into his own headphones.
I think the guy rapping
Yeah, you think the freestyler is
is
worse?
definitely the freestyle is worse because a lot of the time it's not like, because at least the other person is, like just sort of singing, and it's like, okay, that's like sort of annoying, but whatever. But the other person just seems like they are trying so hard in public, and that's so much more uncomfortable if they're not good specifically.
Yeah, it's trying hard in front of people who are not invested, who don't care.
Well, I feel like if you're just singing in public, it can be looked at as like, oh, they're not trying that hard, even if they like are, as Anthony said, having like the vibrato in their voice and all of that.
Anthony, the next time I think you find yourself in a library matinee, you should just like drop some change
Or join.
in their backpack or join.
Yeah.
This is not my day. And then
Slap a quarter down on their table, like, thanks.
Good job.
I'd probably make their day
Good job.
if they believe that they're in a musical. If I just come in like that.
You started harmonizing with them.
I shoot the lights out. Like Elf.
Elf.
Yeah, like when Zoe Deschanel is in the shower
When Zoe did, yeah.
and she's singing.
Oh, yeah.
And then he sings with her. Such a low
He
voice.
starts to harmonize with her.
Imagine.
I'm in a mall and I'm singing.
That's so scary. Oh, what a scary moment that would be for her. In the shower, and you hear such a low voice.
I know, it's terrifying.
Like, the good thing was a comedy, and the lighting in that movie was like different, and they like had all this like jingles, but like that is like horror movie status. Like all they had to do is just make it a little bit darker, change the sepia a little bit.
Yeah, her scream could have definitely been like a horror scream. Very Jamie Lee Curtis, Sigourney Weaver-esque scream.
And there it was. That's the end.
Episode 1.
Great time. We all laughed. We all cried a little bit. I know, especially during that 20-minute mark. Fuck, that was crazy.
So emotional.
When my favorite character died, I knew I just had to keep listening.
When you found out the character was yourself, crazy, right?
Mind blown.
Mind-blowing.
Wow.
Anyway, so yeah, that was it. That was the episode. Thanks for listening. We've got more coming, but we need a sign off.
We're calling out to the people.
We need the people to give us a sign off to end each episode with.
Yeah, reach out to us, DM us on Instagram, email us, smallpotatoespod. Give us ideas for a sign off. Winner wins. What do you want?
Something
You might
fun,
get mentioned.
something sweet. Yeah, the winner, we're going to send the winner such a big prize. It's not even like going to be funny or appropriate. Like it's going to be so big. It's going to be obnoxiously big. Like your mailman is going to be like, what the fuck, dude? What is this?
And
you're like,
Trevor's
I don't
going to
even
pay
know.
for it.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
paying for the
all
whole
on
thing.
Trevor's salary.
I want the record to show that this podcast is not a legally binding contract, and I will not be obliged to do anything that I'm promising right now.
Oh, immediately takes it
Yeah,
away.
boo.
All right, see ya.
Bye, guys.